right, everybody. Welcome back to the Fan Forum. I am Mark. I'm here with you on a lovely evening. I think today's Monday. Doesn't really do well for anybody that's not watching this live, but um, wanted to hop on here real quick and kind of discuss about, some of the shit that's going on right now in the league. There was some breaking news today in the NFL. The Tigers continue to murder everybody. Did some nice interleague play against the Cubs. We can go over the NBA Finals. We got Game 3 going on. And then we've got the NHL Stanley Cup going on right now, too. Oilers, I think they're winning that series. I'm not really sure. It feels like it's an Edmonton Oilers year. I'll throw back to my buddy Wayne over in Canada, who claims this is Canada's year. So let's see if we got anybody in the chat yet. Doesn't look to be. Um, let's see. Hey, we got somebody. The doctor's in. The doctor says, "What's good in the hood? The doctor is in." I knew the doctor would be here. I'm starting to think that he is going to replace Hitch as our weekly co-host because, as some of you may know, Hitch went on an up north trip and has yet to be seen. So last spotted in Ovid, Michigan. From what I understand, he did not have pants on, according to our good friend Bob, our field reporter. Thanks, Bob, for reporting in from the field, letting us know what's going on with Hitch. Some of you may have seen my post on Facebook. I'm starting to think I might put out a monetary reward for Hitch. 50 cents, maybe. Maybe we start at 50 cents. Ooh. Okay, so no pants. Looked like he hadn't showered in a while. Something about lice, too. So there's a good chance that he has already set up a commune somewhere in the woods, and he's now trying to convince others to live like him. So that's an opportunity right now. All right, I'm going to go right over to the NFL right now and talk about something that Hitch and I had discussed as an option for the Lions for replacing a pass rusher. Trey Hendrickson was a name that Hitch was throwing out from the Bengals. He's not satisfied with what he's making. He wants a contract extension. He wants to get paid. We saw everybody but him get paid so far. I got some news, and it says that they cut one of their linebackers to free up some dead cap space for him. So, um, we're okay. Who was it? Okay, so this news says cutting Pratt adds more cap room for Hendrickson deal. So, um, the the folks that they're cutting, guys, is nobody that we need to get up in arms about. There's nobody that's coming over to the Lions, but I'm just trying to tell Lions fans right now, I want to let you know that the Bengals seem to be cutting cap space to make Trey Hendrickson stay there. So I wanted to just get that out there. There's not a lot to talk about, that being one of them. And then obviously we have Packers releasing Pro Bowl Jair Alexander. Made some headlines today. One of those players that when on the field is very dangerous, but seems to be able to. He has a hard time staying on the field. So they cut ties with him after not finding any trade partners. Um, so everyone is going to obviously jump to, well, could the Lions use him? I really just don't see that as a player that we're looking for right now. Um, just be clear as possible. Anybody that has a injury history, I want to stay away from. I'm not even going to be like 97-1 and entertain that conversation right now. So, it's looking like to be that you're not going to see any big roster moves from Brad Holmes for it, up until the season begins. Trey Hendrickson looks like he's staying with the Bengals. The only other person out there on the trade block right now that they're talking about is Jalen Ramsey, and I really don't. I have no interest in Jalen Ramsey, so it's kind of a quiet day in the NFL when that's your breaking news. You've got Houston signing Nick Chubb, which I always really liked Nick Chubb. I was real high on him coming out of college. Another player that got ruined up by the Browns organization, so we'll happy to see him in Houston. I think that's going to be a nice addition over there. What else have we got here going on in the NFL? Damn, we might have to put some breaking news on a milk carton along with the NFL. The doctor says we got to put Hitch's face on a milk carton. You know, I'd agree with that, but I think it would just take up too much of the milk carton and people would just get lost. And that is another question. What do we put on the milk carton? Do we do full beard Hitch, half beard Hitch? Is he smoking in the picture? Because more than likely, if you come up on him in person, he will have a cigarette in his mouth. So, Doc, let's think about that. Maybe you can ask ChatGPT what we should do. So I also want to take a moment here while I'm drinking my water to remind everybody to subscribe to this podcast. We are now going to have a Facebook group, which if it confuses anybody, I know we already have a page that I spam the hell out of, but we want to be able to stream live to Facebook and be able to put some of our reels on there and share some of it. So with the doc's help, I created a group for the fan forum. So you'll be seeing more content being posted. So just appreciate if everybody could like it, because subscribe it. We are currently only sitting at 120 right now for subscribers. I really want to get that number up. I don't know what else I have to do. I offered up Hitch in a suit to our buddy Tim, and according to Hitch, he's going to make good on that. So if I can get Hitch in a suit to Tim Grushak's house to give him a Brian Branch jersey from 2 years ago, what else do I need to do to get you guys to subscribe to this podcast? Because I want to be put out there in the algorithm. So think about it. Let me know. Stop me. Give me some feedback. I want to give a shout out to Bryson. We were at his house and he mentioned the podcast, and I want to try to get him on. It's funny. Everybody stops me and acts like they could never come on here and talk. They're too shy, but they have all this stuff to say. And I want to tell them, dude, just come on here, call the number, and leave a voicemail if you guys want, right? Like we're setting this up because I truly want to hear everybody's opinion. I want this to be more than just me and Hitch rambling on about the podcast. So I'm going to pull up the phone number right now. I should know it. Shame on me. I know it starts with 313. Sorry, I'm not so prepared like I should be. Okay, so here it is. It's 313-536-0878. So just call that. It's a voicemail. Leave it. Tell us what you want to hear. Whether you want to see Hitch nude, whether you want to see us talk about something more than just the Lions. Do you want us to cover any other sports topics? Do you want us to get talk about a specific year of the Lions? Do you want to see Hitch play Madden and cry when he loses to Jason, my 13-year-old son? What do you want us to do? We want to make this like a fun, engaging podcast. And think about it too, during the season, we want to come up with ways to get everybody engaged for the games. Whether we're doing live casting games or we're having a Hitch and I toss out like a fan forum golf outing, or we're going to be doing the fan forum fantasy football draft coming up soon. So I want everybody, all 8 people listening, to think about what other content you want us to do. All right, I'm going to go back to the chat. Let's see. Missing. Last seen whispering secrets to a half-smoked cigarette calling a warm Rolling Rock breakfast. If found, do not approach. He's armed with opinions and smells like regret. I think that accurately explains what I'm looking for. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate that. All kidding aside, I do miss Hitch. He's just busy. He was up north doing some family stuff. So he'll be back on, and he'll have lots to talk about. But we do miss him. All right, we have another person popping up in the chat. We've got Mick Skeeter. He says, "Howdy, boys. Keep it up, and it'll come. I promise." Thank you. I appreciate that. That is Ryan. For all that you don't know, Ryan, why aren't you spending most of your day not trying to get us some subscribers, please? All these 20, 30-year-old friends of yours, just tell them they don't even have to watch it. They just need to subscribe to the thing. Jesus, come on. So I didn't want to ignore my lovely Detroit Lion, or I'm sorry, Detroit Tigers, because they're doing some historical stuff right now. I'm still rocking this jersey. I think I'm going to keep this on throughout the whole baseball season until football season. Um, but I mean, is anybody feeling like they actually want to go to a freaking baseball game all of a sudden? Because the last 5 years, this town's been pretty quiet with baseball, and I don't know, it's been getting pretty interesting. Like the games are fun. Just got to watch them um, win a series against the Cubs, which is nice to see. I believe we still have the number one record in baseball, which is awesome. But you know, do we think this is sustainable? Right? It's a young team. I was just talking to a friend of mine before I came here, and he was even tossing the idea of trading Tarek Skubal. So why are we even having this conversation, right? Like I told him, last year was the last year that you were going to get anything for Skubal. Now he is your Justin Verlander. He is your ace. He is the new face of the franchise, right? Sorry, Riley Green. Sorry, Spencer Torkelson, but it's going to be Skubal, just like it was Verlander for all those years. So, listen, not much more we can do, but just kind of sit here and ride this out with this season because the expectations were super low. The roster is, there's no money on this roster. I mean, compared to what baseball usually throws around. Like if you have a payroll compared to LA, Boston, New York, and then you see what we're doing with our payroll, that's awesome. It just makes me think um, if we do have a legitimate shot this year, or is this just the pre All Star break luck that we're getting? The lack of everybody hitting for a high average has me a little scared, but um, nothing that I'm too concerned about, right? Because I don't really see this team as having a glaring weak spot, like a large, large glaring weak spot. The bullpen's solid, the starting pitching solid. They're playing all around great team baseball, right? Not much I can pick into it, really, right now. Um, and then we've got our Pistons, our lovely Pistons. They're tied to trade talks to everybody that I can think of right now that has a big name other than Kevin Durant, which not buying any of that hype. I really don't think they make too many large moves. You're gonna see them either go all in for somebody for Cade, or it's gonna be the same thing where you're just getting 1 year guys here, right? And even right now, the NBA season's way, 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 way not even done yet, right? We're still in the finals. We can't even, I don't even want to entertain these conversations of the Greek freak coming here. Is it going to be Devin Booker? Is it going to be, I don't want to get into that. I think we got a little too excited when Hutch went out with his injury and started trying to find his replacement and fell in love with guys and just set the bar too high. So I want to be cautious with that conversation. Well, Ryan, I'm going to go back to the chat. He says that he does share it a lot on Facebook and he talks about it. Listen, I want you to physically take these people's hands and make them hit subscribe. Threaten them, Ryan. I want you to threaten these people's lives. See, this is why I love the doc. He pops into the chat again, guys, with a good point. His feed has more about the WNBA right now and Caitlin Clark versus Reese than regular NBA, and that's true. I've seen on TikTok and on X more videos of them beating down on Caitlin Clark. And you're right. The WNBA is getting way more press than the NBA. And it's ironic, too, that, I mean, as much as I like these two small market teams, you've got Oklahoma City and you've got Indiana, right? That's not the reason why the NBA's viewership's down. They did this to themselves. They've kind of tarnished themselves and put them in the all in on the LeBron bucket or bust, right? So now the average NBA fan, if there even is one, call it subpar NBA fan, your average viewer that would normally be watching the finals or the playoffs, there's nobody on these rosters or these teams that they're going to get interested in, right? Which is a shame because you've got SGA and you've got Halliburton, two studs. You got Jalen Williams. You have really good ball players on these rosters, but just because the NBA's done this to themselves, where if you're not Miami, if you're not New York, and if you're not LA, or we'll say Boston, nobody cares, right? They only want their big players and big market teams. And they've really shot themselves in the foot on this one because you've got really good, talented ball players playing really good ball, but the viewership is down, right? Because nobody really is invested in any of these players. And maybe kudos to the WNBA, right? Maybe it's something they've done different, or maybe they've just stuck to their guns, and it's finally paying off for them. But as someone who, my son plays basketball, we collect basketball cards. I'm a huge basketball fan. Wayne is a big basketball fan too, and I'm sure Hitch has shot a basketball once or twice. It kind of sucks, right? Because we're a basketball city. You've got the bad boys and the going to work Pistons. I mean, outside of Detroit, people know those players, know those eras. Those eras came with, they left their mark, right? We scared the shit out of those Lakers in 2004. I know we did. Beat the hell out of the Bulls. Made Jordan change his entire game. But you're not seeing that with this modern day NBA, right? Caitlin Clark is getting beat up like Bill Laimbeer used to beat up Michael Jordan. Like these ladies are going at it harder than these fellas in the NBA, right? Every time someone in the NBA hits the floor, it's this atrocious, they can't believe this emotional, Oscar-worthy performance, right? And it trickles down too to the way the kids play too, because watching the younger guys play and watching them emulate how to fall and complain, it's gross. Like when we were growing up watching the NBA, the guys were rough, they were tough. I mean, if you were going to emulate them, you kind of took on the street image, the gangster image, not this, very soft, showing up in your foam Yeezy slides and your hair all done and trying to play ball. Like, it's just the whole game is completely changed. Well, I'll tell you what, as usual, the doc brings up a good point. I'm going to throw it back to the chat. The doc says the problem with the modern sports, especially with the heavy game counts, is we have entertainment in our hands all day, so we don't need that style anymore. And he's right. Baseball, basketball, and hockey, you're playing 100 and some games a season versus football, you're playing what, 17, 18, depending on how long your team's in it. It's very true. I think, and I would be okay with it, I still don't know why they don't shorten both the NBA and the MLB. It's way, 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 way too long, right? Think about what that would do to some of these players' careers. Add five years or 3 to 5 years maybe onto their career from not having to play as many games. But good luck telling that to the multi-billion-dollar corporations and telling them that you want them to make less money. Right? Because then you're taking away parking spaces, you're taking away butts and seats. And now they've got to go find somebody else to fill that venue. So I like the idea of it, right? It's crazy though. The NFL is trying to add more games, and we're trying to tell all the other leagues, let's take them away. Plus, you have the addition of what the UFL now, which apparently that's on right now, and I didn't even realize that. Maybe we should talk about that. I think there's like four teams in the UFL, and one of them are the Panthers. And hey, look at that, Michigan Panthers heading to the championship game after knocking off the Birmingham Stallions. Okay, so now we got some good news. Hey, maybe that's where Hitch has been. Maybe he got picked up on the waiver wire now that now that the Panthers are in the playoffs, and he has been secretly training for the UFL championship game. Anybody think that's true? I don't think so either. Okay, well, go Panthers. That's pretty cool. So they won the championship in the inaugural season in '83, which ironically, if you go back into the first four episodes and you try to find some shit on the back and my background of all the crazy stuff I had, you'll see there's an '83 Panthers NFL championship team picture hanging up there. So maybe I'll have to get a new one and go side to side. Maybe we could be a NFL Panthers podcast. Or I'm sorry, not NFL. Michigan Panthers. They're the UFL. That's cool though, man. I need to get to one of these games. I hear they're cheap. I hear they're fun. Just not something you can usually say about sports. That doesn't go hand in hand. I'm just trying to take a look at this. This is pretty cool. Okay. Well, I think we'll have to come back. I'm going to do a little research next week, and hopefully we'll have a championship game to talk about. But I want to mention this. So, Doc, if you're on next week, don't let me forget to mention this. You know, that's another idea that we could do for a pod or for an episode. I'm thinking we could talk about the obscure teams that we used to watch growing up here in Michigan, right? Um, the Vipers, the Falcons. I don't want to talk about all of them, but Rocker Soccer as I start talking about all of them. Well, we could do that, rank them, bring up their logos. I'm sure there's a few that I'm missing that Hitch knows that I forgot about, but I think everybody knows the Detroit Vipers. That was one that was real popular. All right, I'm gonna go back to the comments. It looks like it's blowing up here in the chat. Okay, Doc says definitely shorter seasons. Otherwise, you're relying on the viral moment, but that's only temporary. Hitch would be the guy in the water boy coaching in overalls on the Panthers sidelines. Yes, he would. Oh my God, what is his name? Oh my Lord. How did we not bring this up when we did Hitch's movies? Hitch, if you're somehow watching this right now, I want you to get prepared to put some overalls on and a hat and start doing this. I know you can do it. What was his name? Gosh dang, that's a good one. Anyone chime in if they know his name? I'm looking. God, Farmer Fran. That was his name. Farmer Fran. He was also in Joe Dirt, playing like the same character. Farmer Fran. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I think we can get Hitch to do his Farmer Fran impression for us next week. But in the meantime, I do have to work on getting him in a suit and getting him over to Tim's house. And I want to make sure that that goes live stream. I think I can do that from my phone. See the reaction when Hitch shows up to deliver a jersey. Think that would just be great. You guys are full of great ideas tonight. I can't say it enough. I appreciate you guys hopping on. Um, I know it's the off season and it's just me, but still think we're having some fun. Let's see. You know, uh, here I am. I'm bringing back to the Lions again. I'm just pulling up some news, and they're talking about Ahmad Hussein as an impact player. And I'd like to give Hitch's flowers on that one because I think that is going to be the uh, the guy that we can finally get a jersey on for Hitch. So I'm gonna work on getting a Ahmad Hussein jersey started because that's the goal this year, guys. The goal is not only to grow this podcast, but to get Hitch to wear some Lions gear. Okay, I think that's the goal. We got to pretty him up, get him in something nice. Mm. Speaking of being pretty, I want to let everybody know I found out where um, not Jack Campbell. God, I wish I knew where Jack Campbell's house was. Where Frank Ragnow's house was uh, here in Michigan for the 7 years that he played for the Lions, and it was in my backyard in St. Clair Shores, down Rio Vista. So um, after work one day, I decided to drive by it to see if I could really see if, okay, what kind of house does he have? And I'll tell you what, it was a pretty small house for a guy that made as much money as he did. Um, I'm going to pull it up here so you guys can see it. But I'm thinking to myself, all these years, and the guy literally lived like 3 minutes from us. Could have been podcasting from his front lawn this entire time. Blows my mind. Small house, little, I don't know. Nothing fancy though. Let's see if I can find his house. Tell you what, it's just like you think these guys are like superhumans, but reality, they're just normal people living in normal size houses. Yeah, McSkeeter says you'd be shocked at how many Red Wings and Lions players live by you. Yeah, and that's the thing. They always back in the '90s, Ryan. A lot of them did live in Grosse Pointe, which I get. And in a lot of those neighborhoods too, it's kind of twisty and turny and hard to like stumble on their house. But Frank's was just in St. Clair Shores, and nobody's ever lived in St. Clair Shores from a professional sports team, um, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know why it's not letting me find it right now. Yeah, I'm pulling her up. I just got to get her up. Here it is. All right, you guys are gonna about to see. You guys can all be creeps like me and drive by Frank's house. Okay, so that's his house right here. So if you ever watch, there's a YouTube video where he took Jared Goff fishing, and you see Jared Goff getting in the boat off a pier. I'm gonna go with this is the pier that he was standing on right here. Now, if I drop a pin down into El Hauso, you can see it's nothing special, right? Like it's just your average ranch, attached car garage. You can pull right up, and I would have parked right here and put Hitch right here. I would have sat here. He would have came out this door with a gun and had us running off this way. We would have hopped the fence, jumped in the water, and swam. That's probably how it would have went down. Oh Lord, the doc is always full of good ideas. He says we're going to have to do the Detroit Fan Forum tour bus and visit all their houses. I love it. Can you picture an old school bus? And it would be, you definitely don't want Hitch driving. I'll tell you that right now. It would be me driving, and he would just be sitting there, chain smoking, popping back his Rolling Rocks, driving by, giving you a story. It would change every time you did the tour. Every house you'd go by, it would be a completely new story of who lived there. More than likely, they don't live there, but it'll be a good story. It'll be like when Kramer did the Peterman bus tour. Just start driving by making shit up. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody hopping on. I'm going to call this one early today because I'm hungry and I'm going to go upstairs and make us some beautiful steaks. And I really just wanted to come on here, say hi, thank everybody, try to get everybody to subscribe, like. We're not able to broadcast to Facebook just this yet. Our account's too new, so you're probably seeing this on YouTube. Um, all 11 people that were here, no, 8. Nope, 3. Uh, but again, tell all your friends, force them to like it, force them to subscribe. Even if you just know me, subscribe. I don't even care if you listen. I can't say that enough. Who cares if you listen? What do I have to say, anyways? It's just me rambling, Hitch rambling. Who gives a shit? But seriously, thank you guys. Hope everybody has a good night. And peace.